You know me from previous videos. My name is Jessica and I'm going to review with you gerunds and infinitives. Are you ready? Gerunds are words that finish with ing, and we can use gerunds in different situations. One of them is when we use it to express a general idea and it becomes the subject of a sentence. Let's take a look at this example. Paying attention is essential in class. Paying is a gerund that in this sentence it functions as the subject of the sentence because it is a noun. We can also use gerunds after some prepositions like of, to, after, before, into, etc. We have a sentence. I am looking forward to hearing from you. In this case, we have the preposition to, and after this preposition, we have the gerund that is the verb hearing. Moreover, gerunds can be used after certain verbal expressions like can't stand, can't help, be used to, get used to, don't mind, wouldn't mind, it's no use. Let's see this example. I can't help getting angry when studies interrupt. Here we have the verbal expression can't help that is followed by the gerund getting. And we can use gerunds as direct object of a list of verbs, like continue, enjoy, like, love, prefer, suggest, or recommend, among other verbs. We have this sentence to look at an example. I prefer going to the museum. Here we have the verb prefer, and then we have the gerund that is going. So let's review together some verbal expressions that are followed by gerunds. Be used to, get used to, can't help, can't stand, don't mind, wouldn't mind, feel like, it's no use, look forward to, and spend the time. In addition, we have verbs that are followed by gerunds. Let's take a look at this list. Continue, dislike, enjoy, finish, hate, like, love, miss, prefer, recommend, and suggest. And what about infinitives? Well, we have some situations where we can use infinitives, like in this example, to form the subject of a verb that refers to something specific in the sentence. To answer this question is essential, to answer is infinitive. We also use infinitives after some adjectives or adverbs. Like in this example, I am happy to announce my daughter's wedding. To announce is the infinitive that goes after the adjective happy. After the indirect object of certain verbs, such as advise, invite, warn, and teach, among others. We have this example that is a negative sentence. The headmaster warned the student not to do that again. In this case, we just add not before the preposition to. And finally, it's important to pay attention to verbs of perception like hear, feel, or see, and other verbs like let, make, because these verbs don't need the preposition to. We have three examples. I heard him enter the house. We don't need the preposition to. Let me explain. She made me do it. So don't forget that with these verbs, we don't use the preposition to. Here we have a list of verbs followed by infinitive. Agree, we can say, we agreed to finish the project by Friday. Appear, be able, begin, choose, decide, expect, forget, happen, hope, learn. We can say, I learned to swim when I was a child. Manage, plan, promise, refuse, seem, want. I want to go to the beach, and wish. And don't forget that are some verbs that are followed by object and an infinitive, like advise, invite, persuade, teach, tell, and warn. And finally, it's important to point out that there are some verbs that can be followed by both infinitive or gerund. But it's important to pay attention to the verb that we are going to use because some verbs don't change the meaning of the sentence, like the verb begin, propose, forbid, intend, or start, among others. But there are some verbs that they change the meaning of the sentence. For example, the verb remember, or the verb forget, regret, or try, or the verb stop. If we use the verb remember with an infinitive, it means future, like in this example. Remember to study the questions before the exam. But if we use it with a gerund, it means past. We have an example. I remember attending to English classes when I was a child. We have one more example with the verb stop. If we use it with an infinitive, it means no, that is, don't do it again. Like in this example, you have to stop writing at 10 o'clock. But if we use it with a gerund, it means yes, that is, do it, indeed. Like in this example, after 5 hours of hard work, we stopped to have a rest. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed and you learned a lot. See you later. Goodbye.